Today we're going to take a look at the Palmetto State Armory Sabre. So this is Palmetto State Armory's new line of rifle, and my initial thought with this, and this might be mean, but was, wow, that looks a lot nicer than a Palmetto State Armory rifle does. And it is. They did a really good job with this. They have upped the ante with things. They've upgraded a lot of good things. They made this look so much nicer and function a lot better because of some of the upgrades. Now, you might be thinking, what is the difference between this line and just their normal Palmetto State Armory rifles? And what is so special about this gun is the fact that you're getting all these premium upgrades straight out of the box, like an upgraded charging handle, safety selector, trigger, muzzle device. You're getting all these things straight from the package right when you get this out of the box, and you're only paying $900. I am still blown away the fact that I only paid $900 for this gun with all the things that it came with. We're gonna go over from the back to the front and go over all the parts and all the upgrades and what it comes with, but I just want to give you an idea of the difference between this and your normal PSA line. So usually when you buy a very basic $800 to $1,000 rifle like a PSA or a Smith & Wesson, what you would normally do is then take all the parts that are on that gun and then replace them. Get a new charging handle, get a new safety selector, get a new trigger, get a new muzzle device. And you're just gonna take all those parts that you just bought and you're gonna replace them with new stuff, which you should because you're upgrading those parts to better things. But what PSA did is they got rid of all those parts that you're just gonna replace and they upgraded them with better parts that you're already going to want to use. And they didn't just upgrade this with parts that just look cool and make it feel like it's cooler. They actually put parts on here that people use, like the Radiant Raptor charging handle, the Talon safety selector, the JMac muzzle device that you can use with a suppressor. They put an adjustable gas system in this thing. And that's all from factory, so you don't have to mess with anything. This is a 13/7 pin and weld. So that's a really cool size that a lot of people are going to, especially now that the ATF's being silly and trying to take away pistols. So people are really switching to the rifle platform as short as they can go. And the shortest you can go is 13/7 with a pin and weld. And they do that straight from factory, so you don't have to mess with it. You don't have to send it off. So they're really shaving cost by putting everything in one rifle. And PSA already has really good pricing, and they throw it on and then get it to you for $900. Before we get too carried away, let's go over my relationship with PSA. They did not send this to me. I did spend my own money on this rifle. One other thing, I am no longer, as you could probably tell, in the old filming area. We moved to the new house. This is the vault room I'm in. This will eventually look way cooler. It's a very plain background right now, so I'm sorry, like lighting and everything looks really weird. This is the very first video I'm filming in the new set or studio, or whatever you want to call it. But eventually this will all have hold-up display mounts. All the guns will be mounted up. It's gonna be super cool looking. It's just gonna take some time for me to get it all built. But right now, this is what we're working with. So be patient with the very dullness of the background and kind of the way the lighting is. We're getting off track. So let's get back into this gun. So let's go right from the back and go all the way to the front and go over all the parts. So this is a Sabre stock. This is a brand new stock to the market. It's very similar and comparable to your Magpul or your BCMs. I'll give you guys more information on the full review on what I think about this. And this is not a full review. This is just more of the overview, giving you guys a quick idea of the gun and the thoughts behind it. If you want more information on their website, you guys can click the link. It's my link tree, and then click the link to Palmetto State. That also helps support my channel. So go ahead and look at that if you want to look at all the details as well after this video. But this is the Sabre line of stock. So it's brand new. It's nothing that's going to blow your mind saying, oh, wow, this is the new favorite, but it's also not anything that's cheap and chintzy that doesn't work. There's two QD points that is very important on either side, so you can run your slings. And then moving up, you do not have an end plate with a QD point. I kind of wish they would have done that. That might even be my only gripe about this, honestly, but really it's not needed when you have them on the stock. Next is the grip. This is again a Sabre line, so it's a brand new from PSA. They made it. I do like the swell. I like the grip texture. I like how short it is and the angle. So I think they did a really good job, and they actually looked at what's on the market that people actually like. I know a lot of people like that more 90-degree angle, so they listened and they paid attention when designing this. I will give you guys more information on that the further that I test it, but so far I do really like the grip on this gun. Going over to the trigger. This is a Hyperfire RBT trigger, and when I originally was looking to buy this, I was thinking, okay, you know, I'll just upgrade the charging handle and the trigger and this thing will be perfect. But I didn't realize that it came with literally everything. As I was reading down the details, I was like, okay, I don't have to replace the safety selector. Okay, I don't have to replace the charging handle. And I was amazed at all the parts that they were actually putting, that they were good quality parts. So I do like this trigger. This is the first time I've ever used this trigger. I usually go with Geisley SDC triggers, but so far I do like this one. I only have about 200 rounds through it. so far. So not a ton, but so far I do like that, and it is a nice upgrade from a mil spec. Then you have your Talon safety selector. You can go from the 90, which is where it's set up right now, or you can go to a 45, which is where I usually have all my rifles. So I might switch that, but for right now, we'll just leave it where it is. And this is a safety selector that I like a lot. I do have a review video here if you guys want to check that out, but I personally use it on a lot of my guns. Coming up here, your takedown pins are from Battle Arms, and this actually surprised me a lot to see that they didn't just go with the mil spec ones, because they could have cheaped out and just done the normal thing that they always do and probably mass produce, but they went with a little bit more of a nicer line of takedown pins. This isn't something I personally usually ever upgrade or change, but it's kind of cool to see that they ended up changing everything to make sure this was a little bit better all the way around, that you wouldn't want to change absolutely anything. So I think that's pretty cool that they upgraded those. Has anti-walk pins here as well for your trigger, so the trigger pins don't fall out. Now going up top here, you have the Radiant Raptor charging handle. Just so you know, this is the polymer version, but I have the polymer and all their other charging handles. I've never had any issues with any of them, so I don't think you're ever gonna have a problem, but they were able to save a little bit of money going with this one, with still upgrading a really nice charging handle. Going into your bolt carrier, you do have a Palmetto State Armory bolt carrier. If I was ever gonna put this in a purpose-driven position or like a duty rifle, that would probably be the one thing I would change out with this gun. I'd probably go with something like a Sons of Liberty, Iron City. Those are the bolt carriers I run the most, so I would probably switch that up, but that is most likely just because of personal preference and the ones that I trust the most with my life, and if I'm putting it in that role to protect my life, I'm gonna add the extra cost of the 300, whatever it costs for a bolt carrier, and throw it in there. So I don't think it's too big of a cost to do that. But for right now, I'm gonna rock it the way it is. I wanna run this as stock as possible. Obviously, I added the optic and the flashlight and the grip accessories, but nothing to change the actual function of the gun to see how it works. So I wanna test this in its full glory first, and then eventually if I do put this more in a different position, then I'll upgrade some things if I want to. But for right now, we're gonna rock that and see how that works. Now coming down to their new handguard, I really like some things about this. So one of them being that they have a QD point here, and this looks reinforced. Like it sticks out a little bit and almost looks maybe kind of goofy, but I would rather look a little goofy and be super strong. So it seems like it's a little more reinforced. Their normal lines usually just have a circle cut out in the handguard itself, but this one protrudes a little bit and has an extra piece there. I don't know if it's just for looks or if it actually adds something, but I do like the fact that it's not just a cut hole in the handguard. It's actually more of a piece designed for your QD sling. And then you have some nice touches, like it's a little bit grooved or cut out here on top. Now, Midwest Industries does this really good, and it has probably the best cutout that I've found on any handguard. It's because they're cut out a lot wider. These ones are a little bit thinner, so my thumb doesn't fit nearly as well in it, but I do like the feeling of that grooved out on top a little bit. It doesn't really improve anything other than your grip or feel. It just feels a little bit nicer when you're holding your rifle. But the handguard looks nice. It's a 13-inch handguard, and then going down, your barrel is a 13.7 pinned and weld, and I love the fact that they did that. Like I said in the beginning here, with the whole new pistol brace laws and bullcrap, if you want to follow those rules, a lot of people are switching to the smallest rifles that they can create, and where that comes is this rifle right here. A 13.7 pinned and weld is the smallest legal rifle you can make, because the muzzle device sticks out and makes it that 16 inches. You pin it and weld it on there, and it makes it all one length, so you're able to meet that legal requirement if you feel like following the rules that will most likely change in 2 months because the ATF has a temper tantrum. Now you have an adjustable gas block on here, which I think is another really nice touch that they added on here. What a lot of companies will do is they will throw a pin and weld muzzle device with some cheap suppressor muzzle device to say, oh yeah, you can throw a suppressor on it, but they don't think to put an adjustable gas system, or they just don't do it because they don't want to spend the extra money. When you pin and weld something, you can't really take that gas system off unless you unpin and weld it, take your muzzle device off. So they already threw the adjustable gas system that you will need when you run a suppressor on this, because they pin and weld a muzzle device that can also accept suppressors. So if you have your favorite suppressors with this JMac muzzle device, you can throw that on, and then you can adjust your gas system and not have to worry about, okay, I threw my suppressor on this, but now the gun doesn't function properly because my gas system's a normal gas system. Now I have to buy an adjustable bolt carrier, find some other way, or unpin and weld it and then throw the right gas system. But PSA really put a lot of thought in this for the people that are going to use this rifle. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but this isn't like they're cheaper Baron rifles that, you know, just random person buys because they want an AR and feel cool and they throw a bunch of red accessories on it. This is more of a purpose-driven build, and the things they put on this, you can tell that they had that mindset when doing this. They made the price range right where it should be, that $900, because a lot of people, when they message me and say, hey, I want to build a rifle and I want it to do a lot of really good things and I want it to be home defense or this, and this. And they're like, you know, my price range is $1,000. And usually I steer them towards like a Smith & Wesson or a Springfield Armory. And those are good rifles, but those rifles don't have the upgrades that this one does, and I really like it, honestly. So I went out, I planned on only shooting about 100 rounds, but I ended up having a lot of fun with this, and I ended up shooting about 200. Again, I have a lot more rounds to go. I'm only breaking this in, so I can't give you an idea of, yes, hey, this thing's fantastic, and I trust my life with it, because I don't yet. But I was able to go up to 200 yards. I was able to hit steel from there with little to no issue. I have a magnifier on here, which helped a lot with that. The Unity tactical setup. I think this is the setup that's going to stay. I really like this whole combination. But I was able to shoot at distance. Obviously, in the full review, I'm going to stretch it out further, try to get to 300, 400 yards, see how it does, and then do a lot more rapid fire, close range, transitions, other things that I do in my normal reviews, and just see how this gun functions. If it functions like most PSA rifles do, you shouldn't have any issues. What I did is I sighted this in with my good ammo. I went out to the long range, did some shooting to make sure everything was good and where I wanted it, and then I found the trashiest ammo I could find. I think I had like some Tula or some Wolf that's been sitting in the bottom of my bag for like 7 months, and I threw it in a mag, and I just wanted to see how it functioned with that. And like true PSA fashion, this thing ate it really well. These rifles are usually overgassed just so they can run through everything. But I really mess around with things, especially with the fact that I can adjust the gas system. I'll mess things around. I'm gonna throw a suppressor hopefully on this before the end of the review's done. I have one in jail that's still coming. So hopefully if I get that done and back, I'll get that in the full review. But no, what I'd like you guys to do is put in the comments of this video anything that you would like answered or tested on this for the full review, and I will try to get that done in that review, or I'll try to test it. So I can hopefully answer that question for you. If I don't, then I'll find somebody that can answer that question for you, and I'll try to get those answered as quick as possible. But I see a lot of interest for this rifle. These sold out really quickly. If you're looking to pick one up for yourself and helping support the channel, there is a link down in the description. It goes to my link tree. From there is a link to PSA. Anything you purchase using that link does help out with my channel and does help support me. So I appreciate if you guys do that, especially if you're gonna buy one of these orders. If you buy any PSA thing, it helps me out. So I appreciate if you guys go to that. There's other things as well. There's like Brownells, Aero Precision, other companies. You'll just have to look on my link tree. I got a bunch of other different companies that help support my channel, and I appreciate you guys doing that. Another couple ways to do that, there's some discount codes from companies like Brownells and Cloud Defensive. You guys can save 10% off when purchasing parts. So if you want to add some accessories, it just helps save some money and does help out the channel a ton. So I appreciate you guys if you do that. A couple companies that support me, and the things I do here are Howitzer and Brownells. Howitzer is a clothing brand that donates 5% of proceeds to charity, and they make this flannel, which I really like, and I was wearing the other day and had a lot of fun with when I was shooting this actually. And then Brownells, you can use code TA10 and save 10% on orders of $150 or more. And they have pretty much everything on their website. And you can save on a lot of these accessories to help you buy even more accessories or more builds. It's always a good thing to be able to save money and then maybe put it into more fun stuff for your projects. So I'm really excited to share this room and the updates and the progress. I'll keep videos coming to this. I've got a lot of plans for this. Trust me, the background and everything and the filming, the lighting, everything's gonna be a lot better. It's really echoey in this room, and hopefully you can't hear that on the mic. Did some tests and it didn't sound too bad, and I tried to tweak some things. But this whole room will get better. So as each video comes each week, you should see a new piece and maybe the video slowly getting better. But other than that, guys, thank you so much, and I appreciate you all.